Yeah, couple
Say
weeks.
Couple weeks,
Yep, that won't be in here anyway, so if I have an update, I'll give it to you.
right? A, B, C. Basically, my proposal on this was to ask, what are all the projects that you're working on now?
We were gonna come to you next week
Perfect.
with an answer to that. We're kind of in the middle of stuff right now, trying to finalize everything.
And future projects you'd like to see in your scope. If you bring it next week to
Yeah.
us, that's great.
Do you want, well, we were gonna do a PowerPoint, is that too much, or do you,
I don't think so.
okay.
Some handout documents as well.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Handout, we got a handout. That'd be good.
Finger sandwich.
Chicken one. No, that would be great. That way we can, I wanna all be on the same page of what you guys are doing.
We have revised, in that regard, two things. We've revised the planning calendar, and that we developed 2 years ago now, I think. And one of the things that we added to it that we all should have thought of beforehand was that sometime late March, early April, the budget committee and the select board should really be sitting down together every year and talking about, you know, hi, how are you, you're the new guy, this is where we're at type
Right.
thing.
Right.
Even though it is a small town, it doesn't hurt to be on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing was that we developed what's called a Venn diagram, which is kind of like an overlap of the different aspects of the whole budget process in terms of, I don't really want to say who owns what, but like, you know, what group it really handles what end of looking at things, so that, you know, we know who's really doing what. So, you know, so that's been part of it, and then trying to define the tasks that we thought are needed coming up here, so. And obviously, we just added to it with some stuff with the ambulance squad and everything, so.
And I think part of that whole thing is to hear from you guys what you're interested into.
Absolutely, that, you know, you've got to bless everything, but I will say one thing that didn't come up at the budget committee meeting, that I sat in on that meeting, the hazard mitigation plan, I wasn't really sure why I needed to go, but I went, and boy, am I glad I did from a budget perspective, because there's a heck of a lot of stuff on that plan that's not in a capital improvement plan or showing up someplace else, that really needs to be thought of in terms of long-term, so. It's kind of made me rethink on a personal note what our capital improvement plan looks like and who's doing it, so that's something I'm gonna bring back to the budget committee, and I suspect that we'll be talking to you about in a little more detail.
Can you give us just a quick example of something?
Culverts.
Oh, culverts at the yin
Culverts,
yang.
yeah, so despite all the culverts we bought, there's a number of areas that 5 years ago when the plan, or 6 years ago when the plan was last done, were considered critical and should be done. And they're still not done, so
More
there's.
bridges.
Yeah, yeah, and we talked about, of course, the bridges, the red line bridges. But there were some other things there too that.
Those were the two that stuck out
Yeah.
in terms of general areas. The other concern I had too in terms of that was the fact that, like, on one of the things, you know, there were numbers in parentheses saying, like, on that road, there were 2 or 3 bridges. And so nobody seemed to recall which ones they were. So it was obvious we needed more definition, and, you know, David's not getting any younger like the rest of us, he's gonna retire at some point, and so, you know, that's something we've gotta start being a little bit better at,
4 years.
defining things. Well, that's before the next time that this should theoretically be, is it
Yeah.
3 years or 5 years?
5 years.
Yeah, so he could be gone by the next time it gets reviewed.
Yeah, there was a lot of, didn't we do that right after the flood? But
Yet
if
this
this
has been
plan was
After the flood.
done in 2010 or 2011, 12, yeah, then
11 or 12.
it hadn't been as of then, so there's gonna be a fair amount of revisiting what's on that list, nailing it down and making sure it's good. Why we wanna do this, why we wanna have some specific culvert on that list, is that if it turns out to be more expensive, or you wish to pursue FEMA money, you can, if it's on the list.
It's on the list.
And when it's bridges and things like that, or one of the things we had discussed adding was Bell Hill. Well, that's not gonna be a cheap thing to address, but if it's on there and it causes, you know, erosion due to whatever, that's one of those things they may be able to help out with.
Am I correct, there's no projector over here, that we have to get the one from the library?
Right, we don't have one here.
So getting back to your culverts, Chris or Carol, who's who's mandating or the culvert, I mean, is that a David project?
When things get initially put on there was because David, sitting down probably with Southwest or whoever he sat down with last time, said that, yeah, this is in bad shape and we should track it. And over the next 5 years between these plans, that one never got replaced. A lot of other ones, Rock, how many of these things have we bought, you know, over the last 2 years? It's been a whole lot of culverts.
A lot.
No, that's why, Matt, how does something get missed?
But we got like, what was it, 2,000 culverts or something, wasn't it?
So it's hundreds that we've had to
Hundreds.
replace, but I think
I don't
it might be a
know
good
total.
message from you guys to say, we would like the ones that are showing up on the hazard mitigation plan to be replaced. Make those a priority.
Well, there's another way to do it too. In doing some digging, I found, I think it's Springfield, New Hampshire, which is about half the size of us, had a very simple, but I thought very informative capital improvement plan. It was spreadsheets similar to what Glenn has done, but it also included a descriptive section. So they had stuff about, you know, the town hall, you know, there was some rot that needed to be done, or this, and so, you know, I think we really need to expand and I'm a list maker, I apologize, that, you know, this stuff is detailed someplace, and there is a list that we can follow, so everybody's on the same page. You know, it's in one document, and we can then prioritize everything that needs to be done. The building maintenance that we're talking about, not routine stuff like power washing the building or painting or something, but stuff that's, you know, where there is rot, or like things with the firehouse, that kind of stuff, should be in that capital improvement plan.
And some of
And,
it,
I mean, the culvert situation, I mean, I'm just using that because that's what's been mentioned.
Yeah.
I mean, are these on roads that are getting paved this summer, or?
That's the other thing, is there a paving list that is available to everyone?
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
there
they got
Is there?
X amount of miles or whatever of paving we're gonna do, or the culverts that need to be changed out prior to the paving being done.
Rather than dig up the new pavement.
Yeah,
Not doing that some line road.
I think that would be an honest answer, question to ask David is, where do these specific ones that we have in the list, where do they fit into your culvert replacement plan? And if it's whenever we get to them, then that's up to you guys to decide whether that's.
we take
an
one
acceptable
step
answer.
forward, and we take a half back again, and,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, but we're moving.
No, we are.
As long as we're keeping it in the right way.
Stop moving.
Well, plus, we don't know how long some of those culverts were on the planning list, they could have been, not just 5 years ago, but another 5, 10 years ago. And just been deferred, like what we
Yep.
sat there and
Yep.
did. So, yeah, a description would really help, so we could visualize where they are and put a priority on it.
Very good.
We will get back to you.
Right.
And I'll let Kelly know, or Chris or I will let Kelly know after tomorrow's meeting, whether or not we'll be ready for next Tuesday or the week after, if that's okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Old business. Anyone have anything?
The one thing I would ask is, there was something, Carol, on Facebook, this past weekend about trucks being advertised, you know, for bid.
Oh, yeah, that's in
Oh.
the minutes too here, only, Kelly, you've got a little bit of a, you've got Unicide, which is supposed to be Unicy bid.
Unicide.
I kinda got a kick out of that. Yes, and that's, I believe
Leave
Glenn
Carol
handles that
pick
stuff
out
for you.
something.
Well, I,
She's good at that.
Down the bottom of the first page, well,
oh, where's my minutes? Do I even have a copy of it?
Very good, please.
No, I have it right here. I mean, I spelled municipal wrong.
yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
But typically, that's what the town has used in the past, Alan. And Glenn's usually the one who does it, but I
Yeah,
also-
what's the delay on it, I guess is what I
I
have.
think
for
he's
a
been
question.
busy this time of year with the weather and everything, because of the nature of his business, being self-employed. So he hasn't gotten stuff out there, but I noticed that Kelly, you did write several weeks. I mean, I'm not sure that,
I think, so there was one truck that needed to have the,
Fuel
Something.
tank?
fuel
fixed.
tank.
Okay.
The- Yeah,
yeah,
so
you
is
got,
that the
Glenn asked
same
about the
one?
leak in the fuel pump, but you don't say in what vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
It was in there.
It was the
one.
rescue.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So the
Rescue.
rescue, okay.
Oh, it is the mechanical fuel pump.
Okay.
I think it was fixed, so I followed it down the road to the town
Oh.
garage and
No leak.
they were driving.
And it's
And it
back in
was
the
smoking.
snowbank now, so.
I maintained, this is not the town garage.
Yeah, no, it's up to the fire station,
Oh, okay,
east out.
yep,
But you've probably seen the trucks before that he's put out, or that was the Explorer, I think he had out front with a sign on it.
yeah.
available for bid, and
Couple
I'm
years ago.
Sure he'll do something similar, so,
yep.
the 2 trucks. Well, people have been asking, 'cause I guess there's quite an interest in the 1 truck, so.
Well, I saw a reply and, you know, it's not there, so. I forget who the person was that asked, but, yep.
I think the fire truck has a lot of collectors.
Just, there's some rebuttal there that it's not being done in a timely fashion. I saw a statement there. We need to address that.
We've tried,
You tried?
we're gonna try again.
Okay.
It's probably, like she said, he is busy.
Why does it come down to Glenn? I guess that'd be the next question.
I don't know how to do municipal bid.
Okay. I don't, I have no clue, so.
And he's done well with it, so, you know, if it takes a little bit longer,
He has no problem
Okay.
And he was the one that actually found Municipal bid.
Yeah, that's true.
He likes it.
So,
He enjoys selling.
Oh.
down.
Anything that's not bolted
Anything that's
down,
not
you gotta watch
bolted
out.
He wants to sell it.
okay, that's all I got.
with. One thing for old business, we need to come up with which one of these buildings needs to be worked on first. Start getting some quotes, bids, proposals, whatever you want. So we can get stuff done. David's list,
Yep.
I mean, okay,
So,
it doesn't even put anything about
There's more.
that dump that we have town meeting in.
The recycling center, we're gonna recycle it.
so,
And
what do you
John's
want
coming
me, what do you want me to do? So I have the Bill Rodenberg list. I
It's
have
pretty
David's
easy
list.
to walk into the town hall over here. And, I mean, anyone could make a list of all the things that
Yeah, but
look
we don't have anyone specific.
horrid in there.
We don't have any, we don't have a building maintenance.
We put David in charge of that, but
You know, what needs to happen now? I
we need
think-
somebody with some construction experience,
Yeah.
I think.
Alan,
Alan. To walk in there and say, first of all, rip the ceiling fans down, throw them away, put some new ones up. And all the holes in the insulation and all,
Yeah.
I mean, make it look better for one thing.
And you have,
So you wanna see a breakdown, of the buildings, what should and can be done?
What should be done?
We
Make
can't-
those-
we can't get a contractor to come in and fix it until we know what we want done.
We gotta give them a
Right.
scope of work. What are you gonna
it's
do?
called a long-term plan, and that's the kind of thing I was talking about, that should be part of the CIP.
Well, maintenance isn't part of the CIP.
That's not maintenance.
This is maintenance.
Tearing down fans and replacing,
That's maintenance,
no.
yeah.
I mean, I see pressure wash all town buildings.
That's-
Is that something that David and the crew would do, or
Yeah.
probably,
Brad,
yeah,
or?
yeah, yeah.
I think so.
But we
Yeah.
do need someone with some sort of construction background to go
Sure.
step by step.
And then, not everything's gonna be done this year, there's no way. However,
Well, David must have had something in mind when he put these buildings down.
Uh-huh.
He must have had some thought.
the East Station, the trim boards are rotten on it.
Mm-hmm.
But are all the trim boards rotten, or is it a section of trim
Yeah.
board? I don't know.
Yep. Yep.
And there's more, for instance, John Mann's got a bug about the HVAC system in the
She's,
fire
he's,
station.
he's
He
coming
was-
next
He was
week.
gonna be here tonight, yeah,
He's coming next week,
next week.
Yeah.
So you'll hear all about that, and we've been putting that off for 2 years because we don't have any money.
so.
And can we find out from Friendly Meals on the town hall, which of those things do they actually use? The big serving thing,
Thanks.
I don't think they work.
Oh,
It
the-
never worked.
I
but
think they just,
use them for
for
service.
storage,
Why?
because they can.
for their
They take
stuff.
up a third of the town hall.
I think there's a lot of stuff in them, I mean, containers, pots, pans.
Couldn't there be like cabinets on the wall? or
You're
something
just,
with those
you're
go?
lucky they let you use it for elections.
At town meeting.
That's how I felt.
They're full of stuff.
Yeah, but is it stuff that's
Stuff.
needed, or?
Well, they need it.
Well, they did need the
Yes.
toilet paper that was in there for the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
Jack.
think it's all that, the paper stuff and, cause we don't have any cabinets.
but you don't need, I would think, such huge metal.
They seem,
They take up floor space,
They probably have no
Very
place
good.
to
When
put it.
when you're trying to sit there, it's not.
yeah. No, I'll start
find
acting
out
on
how
it.
it's really.
Yep. I mean, I know, like I believe the town hall, the door facing the old I call it the old Ramsey house.
It's
know, I-
fixed now.
Oh, it is fixed?
Yes.
Okay,
I went down, did something.
That was my initiation into the selectmen.
good job,
Thank you.
cause I think for years it wasn't locked.
We need initiation for Alan now?
We're giving it to them.
Construction, buildings.
Yeah. No, we don't have a building, can't think of the word, we don't have a person in charge of the buildings per se. I mean, I know David is supposed to be.
Put somebody,
A janitor.
yourself, you can see what was.
President.
More
Yeah,
than that.
and then I come back with a report and
Then you say, this building needs
Yeah.
this.
yeah.
That would be helpful.
Give him the one that was done a year or so ago, just so he's got some.
And we don't
some
need-
info, too.
Yeah, I have
Golden leaf.
all of Bill's, yep.
Doors on the building.
No, I understand. Yep. You want prices beside stuff that, yeah, no.
No.
You're gonna bid it out?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, how about if we go the other
If
way?
you had
We've
an
got,
idea of what it should cost, that would be helpful.
yeah,
Well,
we,
you know, if it's a door or something, I can get an approximate
Right,
cost,
right,
not
right.
necessarily with
a budget.
labor.
Not a bid, but we've got somewhere, an amount of money, what is it, 40,000? It started out at 40, I think we should, we've moved it around some. We've got a sum of money that we can spend. What we need to do is find out what our priority list is so that we don't spend our $40,000 or whatever it is. And then find out afterwards that we fix the least important stuff.
Mhm. No, I will,
We have one that is 36,664.
Well, remember we took
And
some
one
out of
that's
that,
12,000.
yeah. Anyway,
So it's
Didn't
more
some
than we've
money
ever
come-
had.
Into the, whichever, the fund balance from the new town hall, cause that was, that
and we
money.
can't touch that for a year,
Oh, we can't, you can't, came out of the capital
Till next
reserve
year.
fund.
next January.
That would be, it's now March,
so
almost
it's
the end
not,
of
it's
March.
not
It'll take us till then to figure out what we need to do with some of that money for the building, so if we start now,
We could borrow on that money, though, right?
And we do have
if it's an
40.
emergency.
yeah, if that's the material, that's something we gotta decide on when we bid it out.
Interest rates
So
are
yeah,
going up. though.
let's get building by building what it needs.
Yep.
David
Oh,
does
and the
say that the
library.
town garage has some major problems.
Steps.
Okay, so that'd give me a reason to go up and see him early Thursday morning,
Perfect.
early Thursday morning.
And the HVAC in the library is on John's list too. You might get him a copy of that, it was a bid.
He's coming in next week though,
It's
right?
coming in next
Yeah,
With a whole nother.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'll start with buildings and you're gonna give me a couple weeks to generate, yes.
Bobby has a,
Well, like, you know, it was mentioned about the town hall and the things that were in there. I think before you even look, I mean, we did put, what, 20,000 in 15 years ago. And look at it now, if you want it to be a town hall where people can rent it like they used to do and use it for elections, I think before you even look at what needs to be repaired, you need to discuss what is going to be in there. You know, Friendly Meals is there 2 days a week, but it is set up right now, it's basically there 7 days a week.
right.
And so I think that needs to be discussed and you need to look at what can be done there. I mean, I don't know how much storage they have over at their kitchen, but a lot of that stuff does not need to be there 7 days a week. And I think you really need to look at that program.
Well, we might be able to, you know, like, Rock said with their metal compartments, say, that take up floor space. Maybe if we can find used cabinets, you know, one of our local builders may be ripping out a kitchen somewhere, maybe we can put cabinets up. certainly not gonna purchase
Yeah,
them,
it
but
needs to be made so anybody could rent it for
Right.
a party or something like that, and,
actually make it back to our town hall, not necessarily the friendly meal,
right,
yeah,
Right.
gathering spot. Yep.
And they have some room in Langdon too.
What's
I mean,
that?
they've got a lease in Langdon,
Correct.
so they're not, that area is stable for the foreseeable future, and some of the stuff that's over here may be able to go over there.
When we gonna do our,
well,
like,
they're pretty full over there,
What we
I've been
talk about
there.
our
Technically two
Food.
does that have to be
different
non-public?
Medical
food
supplies.
shelf and friendly meal, they're
Don't
technically
forget
two
the
different
minutes.
things.
They're done a better job.
Excuse me.
So it would be.
We're gonna schedule one.
We got to, yeah.
We could schedule one Thursday.
You wanna schedule a lot of things Thursday.
No, I'm just thinking we could ship the contestants out the door and do our work.
That's a good idea, I mean, depending on what time we start.
I don't think it'll take long.
It would depend, probably some of those Langdon selectmen might not be as flexible.
Would we have to do it together? I would think we would do it and we'd send it to them and then they would do it.
I think we wanna make sure that we have all of the components.
Yeah.
We're still missing part of the components.
Well, I'm not in any hurry, I'm just trying to figure out
Mhm.
when it's gonna get done.
I should probably hear from Jess shortly, but we don't have everything from all the parties involved.
That's true, we should wait. It'll probably take a week. New business?
Did you approve the minutes?
We will.
There's one more typo in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes, it did.
those are in there just to check to see if anybody needs them.
Should be, I'm guessing she meant blurting,
yeah.
although if you saw the video, his comments were kinda blurred. I'm guessing he meant blurted.
We call them beauty marks.
No new business, huh? Nothing. We could approve the minutes as read, as amended.
Second.
Perfect. Anything else? Tim moves to adjourn.
Second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Well, after another door, I like that.